ye fall into diverse temptations. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, God trying to get you some patience, honey. Verse number 3 say, knowing this, that the trying of my faith worketh patience. But look at verse number 4. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entirely wanting nothing. Tell your neighbor, I'm not anxious for nothing. Oh my God. But verse number 5 said it like this. But if any of you lack any wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally. That means he give it freely. Tell your neighbor, you ain't even got to pay for this. It's tax free, honey. You ain't got to wait till August. Oh, y'all don't want to hear me. You know how some of us just wait to tax free weekend to do all our shopping, because we ain't as unfortunate just to spend money to spend money. But you ought to tell your neighbor, God getting ready to cause the stores to come down to my budget, honey. If I go in there with $5, I'm getting ready to get a truckload of stuff. But if they got to put it down to a 2 cents, if they got to put it down to 5 cents, just allow the favor of the Lord to rest on my life. You ought to high five your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, favor ought to serve me. Because he won't win. So he said, listen, and give it to all men liberty. And upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him act in faith. Watch this, nothing wavering. That means, listen, you ask God, and then you turn around and tell God, no, you ain't got to do it. That's wavering in your faith. You believe it for a second, but then you get wavered and don't believe it. Tell your neighbor, either be hot or cold. Because if you become lukewarm, that just only means playing both sides. He's going to spew you out of his mouth. But listen to this thing here. But he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind up and tossed. That means wherever the wind blow you, that means that's where your mind goes. That means that's what you believe in. Don't let nobody shake your faith. But you ought to tell your neighbor, after all I've been through, I better have some faith. Oh, you got to have faith. Oh, everybody got faith. Not only do you have faith, but I'm going to tell you how much faith you really have. The scripture goes on to say it like this. I dealt with every man a measure of faith. Your faith may not be like mine, but everybody got some kind of faith. So I can connect with Hebrews 11:1. That now faith is the substance of things hoped for, what you need. Oh, but you ought to tell your neighbor, I done suffered a while. I done suffered what I got. But this new thing I'm after, I got to